Did author Stephen King recently buy a Boston penthouse condominium? In 2022, there were several notable buyers of Boston condominiums. For example, Boston Brewing closed on 2 waterfront condos. Additionally, it also appears that the former wife of one of the most famous arms dealers in history may have purchased an $8 million Back Bay condominium. But did world-famous author Stephen King buy a Boston penthouse? If he did, he would certainly be the most famous buyer of a Boston condo in 2022. Whether King authored one of the Hub's most expensive sales in 2022 came to mind when I was surveying Boston luxury sales in Q4 and came across a pricey sale in one of Boston's best buildings. The actual buyer was a limited liability corporation, a common form of ownership for folks with a high net worth. So I researched the LLC and I found out the SOC signatory for the $11 million condo was none other than a man named Stephen King. According to signnow.com, a SOC signature is an officer or representative vested with the powers to commit the authorizing organization to a binding agreement. The SOC signature is also called the signing officer. But is this Stephen King, the owner of a penthouse condo with panoramic views of the Boston, the same Stephen King of The Shining, Misery, It, The Shawshank Redemption? Maybe. The internet notes that King had already moved out of his Bangor, Maine home, the one with a wrought iron fence with images of bats and spider webs. So maybe he needed new digs. But then again, it was also reported that he lived summers in Center Lowell, Maine, and winters in Casey Key, Florida. So maybe he didn't need new digs. Perhaps the luxury condo owner was a different Stephen King. After all, out of every 100,000 people, apparently 265 have the name Stephen. That's a lot of Stevens. And King, well, that isn't such an unusual last name. LinkedIn shows more than a few Stephen Kings. Additionally, a search revealed that there are several Stephen Kings who are listed as officers in other Bay State corporations. But really, how many of these Stephen Kings worldwide would have $11 million cash to pony up for a new condo? That is if they hadn't sold 400 million books and sold a host of movies to Hollywood. So without absolute confirmation, it might be a little bit difficult to absolutely, positively, confidently assert that King is the proud owner of an abode within walking distance of his beloved Red Sox. But one thing I think I can share is the exact address that King may or may not have purchased. This shouldn't be a big deal because everybody knows where King lived in Maine, right? So here it goes. The exact address of Stephen King's in Boston is